Welcome back to chapter 3 in my book review, Black Professional Life, Constant Drama. This is the Black Professional Life Underground Talk Show. Welcome. If you haven't had the chance to listen or review the first two chapters, then now is a good time to go back before moving into chapter 3. With chapter 3, we start that chapter off with a play on words with the poem. The poem starts off each chapter and allows the reader to have a sense of anticipation of what's coming up in the next chapter. This chapter is entitled, the poem is entitled, But for the White Folks. It's a play on words that my mother used to warn me about was do not become bait for the white folks. And you'll see more about what we mean in that regard. But for the white folks. Can a woman raise a man to be a law-abiding citizen, successful, God-fearing, and loving to all mankind? I reject the devil's evidence that says it cannot be. For a man is born of a woman. Out of her womb he submerges. God knows what course his life must take. But for the white folks, she don't want him to make a butt out of himself. God knows what course his life must take. Sometimes, mother, the son becomes the butt of the joke. He has to bear the brunt of humility. God hates a proud look and forward heart. But as for the white folks who will see, the devil's evidence was rejected, and the son, who is now a man, soars forevermore. Chapter 3, Bait for the White Folks. As I mentioned, this is a play on words that my mother used to warn me about as I would leave her presence. She would tell me, don't become bait for the white folks. I start off with a quote on each chapter, and here it reads, we come to the question presented, does segregation of children in public schools solely on the basis of race, even though the physical facilities and other tangible factors may be equal, deprive the children of the minority group of equal educational opportunities? We believe that it does. United States Supreme Court Chief Justice Earl Warren, in the unanimous decision of Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas, May 17, 1954. Amen. On a cold Thursday night in February 1959, at the tender age of 4.5, I was sprawled in front of a black and white console TV, flat on my belly on the living room floor, my face a foot from the bright screen, watching Adventures of a Boy Named Theodore Cleaver. Amos and Andy was my favorite show, because it was one of the few TV shows with Negro actors. My second favorite was The Bee. My knees were bent and my lower legs stuck up in the air. I alternated between slapping my feet together and racing my fat, stumpy legs back and forth, letting one foot hit my butt and the other one kick the floor. I loved Leave It to Beaver, but my little body had too much energy to sit still for very long. Tonight, the Bee lost the money that his mother gave him for a haircut. Afraid to tell her what happened, he gives himself a trim with the help from Brother Wally. The botched haircut only worsens Beeve's trouble. Boy, Beeve, are you gonna get it? Wally says. Boom, 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 boom. My parents were yelling in the back bedroom loudly. Daddy must have thrown something. I'm telling you, Rosalie, as father's voice bellowed through the house, you're not going to see them anymore. You understand me? Quit making this stuff up in your mind, she continued. You got no reason to dislike my sister and her family. You say they don't like you, but it ain't true. They've been nothing but good to us, Chester. I told you to stay away from them. I'm tired of it. I know your sister wants you to leave me. She don't like me. Fine, but I won't let her poison your mind. You need to stop drinking, Chester. It's your mind that's getting poisoned. My mother's footsteps echoed across the bedroom floor. I could picture her in her bleached white maid's uniform and white shoes. She put on that uniform 6 days a week, left the house early, and rode the bus to work, cleaning house for Miss Grayson, the white lady up in Pulaski Heights, the wealthy white section of Little Rock. Mama got $25 a week. There were 2 houses on the property he owned on West 23rd Street. This is my father, Archester Hill. He built them both with his own hands. From the ground up, put in the electricity and the plumbing. The front house was divided into 3 apartments, 2 upstairs and 1 down. Our house had 2 apartments, a small one downstairs and a larger one for us upstairs. It had 6 rooms, 3 bedrooms, a bath, living room, and a kitchen in the rear. My daddy, Archester Hill, was an entrepreneur for his time, a businessman, clever at earning money. Between what he and Mama earned, plus the rent from the apartments, our family did all right. We simply lived, but never went without food, toys, and a good pair of clothes for Sunday church. Just west of our house sat the Little Rock Natural Spring Water Company. A handful of blacks worked in the concrete building, bottling water from a spring that started under Daddy's property and flowed toward the bottling plant where it was pumped out. The company's livelihood depended on Daddy's generosity with the water supply. We got all the bottled water we could drink. Plus, the owner of the company always paid for our plumbing repairs both parts and labor. I would sit at the front windows for hours, secretly wishing for the day when our family would move into the front house. It looked pretty much the same as our house, but with one big difference. It had a shingle roof. Ours had a tin roof. Oh, how I hated tin roofs. Hated, hated, hated them. The boy from the tin roof, the house with the ugly tin roof. It seems like that's all I heard from the neighborhood kids. Ours was the only house in the neighborhood with a tin roof, shining bright in the hot Arkansas sun. Its glare fueling the relentless teasing. Crack! My parents' argument continued in the bedroom. It sounded like something hit the bedroom wall, shattered and crackled as it hit the floor. Probably shards of broken glass. Get back in here, damn it. I'm not done with you, woman. I sadly glanced back at the TV set. The Beeve, Wally, and his parents were seated in their crisp, immaculate living room. The Beeve's father was lecturing the boys in a calm and concerned tone. My mind tried to make sense of the two different worlds I was watching and stumbled on a solution. Daddy stood in front of her, blocking any attempt by her to escape his verbal abuse. It's your sister who's giving you these ideas about leaving. Can't you see she wants to ruin what we got? I lifted the gun to waist level, aiming at my father's back. My beautiful mother was looking past her drunk husband and right at me with those teary, large brown eyes. Daddy, stop it, my little voice squeaked. I am not scared of you. Leave my mama alone or I'll shoot you. He reached down and snatched the toy pistol out of my shaking hand. Boy, don't you ever pull a gun on me again. You hear? My father's voice quivered at the thought that his young son would threaten him even with a cap gun. Okay, see you soon as we will restart chapter 3.